Our farm is Black Swamp Cattle Company. We grow grass-fed and grass-finished beef. We also grow pastured poultry, and we're starting to get into pasture-raised eggs. My farm was originally a row crop farm where we grew mostly soybeans, very conventionally, lots of tillage, lots of chemical inputs. And after some time of losing land and starting to look at the books more, we started to realize we were losing a lot of money, and I started to look for other options. And we kind of explored more conventional means until we came across regenerative ag and adaptive grazing. Almost all of our land is leased, and so it's a very low barrier to entry. You don't have to have millions of dollars to buy 100 acres or hundreds of thousands of dollars to even buy 10 acres. We operate year to year on leasing through land contracts with the local metro parks, and that helps us to be able to increase the amount of money we're able to put into livestock and a lot less money into infrastructure and land. We care for our soil and water and air health through our farming practices by focusing on the 6 soil health principles. Number 1 being making sure we have a living root growing in the ground at all times. We graze almost solely perennial pastures and in a very diverse mix. And we're also making sure that we leave a good amount of residue on the ground and leaving about 50% or so of that above ground biomass. We do a lot of trampling, and by trampling and leaving a lot of that litter on the soil, we're putting a lot of carbon into the ground. We're also making sure that we eliminate or reduce runoff by putting more organic matter on the ground and into the ground itself to increase water holding capacity. In just 3 years on our home farm, we've seen more wildlife, more plant species, greater diversity of insect species, and improvements in the soil, and we've seen a lot less flooding on the areas that we graze as well. And I like to share kind of what we're doing with as many people as possible. We don't sell into a sale barn or anything like that. We focus on getting the meat, harvesting that, and sending it directly to the customer. We kind of operate within local groups. We have some individuals that buy from us, but the Weston A. Price Foundation, local chapters, those are by far our best outlet. The number 1 obstacle that we face in our operation is land access, because grazing cattle is a very land extensive enterprise. It takes a lot of land to graze them properly. I hope to see larger expansion and more long-term partnerships with the metro parks. I think it works well for both parties. We're seeing a lot more diversity in the plant species, and so it's a good opportunity for a symbiotic relationship, and so I hope to continue to grow our operation with them, as well as to try to expand to more private landowners and get more grazing opportunities there. If anybody is interested in getting started in regenerative ag, the best advice that I can give them is just to start doing something. Obviously, research and learn as much as you can, but just get started, because the most learning you're going to be able to do is when you're actually doing the work. It's not just rotational grazing. Don't just move your animals on a schedule. Learn to observe what's around you, and then act like a professional. If you want to be in a professional space, you have to be a professional. Get yourself a website. Show people what you're doing. When you show people that this is an option, then that starts to expand people's interests and allows them to kind of explore getting into ag more and more. Allow a kid who's interested in this a small amount of acres, 10 acres, just something that's maybe at the back of the farm. Allowing a kid to be able to kind of take control over that enterprise is going to go a long way to getting their interest in ag, instead of trying to fight to do things the conventional way and see that there is either no future or a very, very hard future for them in that operation.